Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Presentation Hell podcast, podcasting from Embark Studios in Tampa, Florida. Today, we have the pleasure of sitting here in studio with Aakash Patel from Elevate. And Aakash has been around the Tampa Bay scene for a long time. He knows who's what's going on, and he's on a board of the trustees for the Hillsborough Community College. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Aakash, tell the audience who you are and what you mean to Tampa.
Well, thanks so much for having me, James. I came to Tampa after college. I went to Florida State University, and I came here and I got involved in the community. And Tampa was not as hip as it was now. I mean, folks like you weren't living here in 2006. It's great, but a lot of my friends that grew up here with me, they were moving back here from their college days, and they were starting businesses, and they wanted to help navigating the Tampa business community. And it was a little difficult at the time, and so I kind of created a roadmap for them. And I really liked what I was doing. And then I said, this could be a business. So I talked to a few of my friends and they said, go for it. I talked to now a former mayor, Bob Buckhorn, and he was this big kick of renovating downtown and bringing the brain drain to Tampa, which is done, was around 2011 when he got elected. And so I came up with the idea and finally launched my company 12 years ago this week, February 1, 2012.
Elevate's been around 12 years.
Yes, sir.
And it's about connecting the business people of Tampa, real PR, it's not really PR, but it's human flesh to flesh. You know what's going on.
Yeah. And the thing about it is people who want to meet more people are the people that hire us, right? So it could be an entrepreneur starting a business. It could be a relocated CEO, which are a lot of them these days. It could be a business development director or marketing director that starts new at a company that moved here but needs to get their word out, raise awareness. And most importantly, it's just really about using time effectively, right? There's a lot of places.
Using time effectively.
A lot of places you could be at, I could be at right now, but we chose to be in this room at Embark to talk at this podcast. And so we strategize with customers and CEOs and executives like, you can go to this networking event, but if you're going to go to this networking event, these are the 5 people you need to get out of this event.
If you want to, you know the who's who in this area. You know how to link people up that really need to be done.
Tampa is a big, small town. So when you in Tampa Bay, by the way, we're regional, right?
It's a small town with the big city benefits.
Exactly. And so, yes, I've gotten to know a lot of the great leaders in the community as far as being on public boards. I've also gotten to know a lot of people from different leadership programs. Like I know you're alumni of Leadership Tampa Bay.
Leadership Tampa Bay is a great organization.
Yep. I was on the board for 8 years. I was secretary. I chair the Tallahassee trip or sponsor the Tallahassee trip every year. But every time you talk to someone, they ask what the value of those kind of programs are. And I'm like, what's what you make of it?
Well, for me, Leadership Tampa Bay has been an excellent organization. There is rare in your life that you get an opportunity to be a cohort with people. It happens when you go to college or you go into the military or you're the new group of interns and there's 20 of you starting at a job. But after that, if you're 20 years in your career, it's very rare you get put together with 50 or 60 other people with like-minded abilities, but in all different areas, and get the ability to make friends and long-lasting bonds.
And that's what happened to me. So I graduated, like I said, 2006, came here, started the company in 2012. I did leadership. I was a graduate leadership team in 2011. And then I was in the FBI Citizens Academy, the Homeland Security Citizens Academy, the Mayor's Neighborhood University. I did the Leadership Tampa program, Leadership St. Pete program, Leadership Florida.
And you were social marketing before social marketing was real.
And all those connections of people, because like you said, you make the best friends.
Yep.
And I tell people they're friends you would never really hang out with. You would never have met them but for that class.
100%. All the time. Every day I see people when I go out to eat. It's like that.
And all of them had the same issue, James. And that's why I created Elevating. They wanted to help learning in the community of what's important, connecting with the right people.
Learning,
and
connecting,
growing their brand. So Learn, Connect, Grows our model.
Okay. Learn, connect, grow. Yep. And if you want to learn what's going on in Tampa, connect with the people that make a difference, that will help your company, not Elevate. It'll help the company you work for grow. And that's why you come to
Elevate. And it could be an individual. It could grow their individual's personal brand by speaking, or personal brand by just raising their profile.
Well, with today's social media, everyone is their own personal brand, whether you like it or not. And if you want to influence, if you will, you have to create your own brand first that develops trust. And then once people trust what you say, then they will be influenced by your actions.
Yeah. And so when I started, I interviewed 50 CEOs because I wasn't sure if this was
in Tampa.
This was
that was the smartest way to get to know people.
And they all told me their pain points, and then I kind of put it in writing. And that's what you do when you create a plan. But one of the things I wanted to stay true to was I only want to network and basically work with people that have a Hillsborough or Pinellas presence.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, right now we work with City Furniture. They're headquartered in South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
The CEO comes here once a month. He's got a Plant City location. We're about to open their Largo location.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the Tampa Bay region. But when he's here, we network with him in the Tampa Bay area. We don't go down to South Florida to network for him there or connect him with people because that's his headquarters. So
he's already, that's got it. You are the Tampa scene, so to speak.
So it's the startup community, the relocated community, and now what you call I would say the business development / marketing community that is overwhelmed by the outpouring of opportunities in this being on all these lists that we've gotten as the awards and all this recognition Tampa's gotten. All these business development marketing folks, these companies, they really need some guidance. So now we're helping with strategy of these corporations.
Well, I'm part of the relocation group. I came from New York and brought my company down here to be warm welcomed and found a very fertile environment to grow and to do it. I am an endorsement of Tampa and the business scene here.
And that's how we met when you were speaking at the EDC Meet the Projects event.
That's right.
And that's when Joanne recruited you to LTV. I remember.
That's right. That's right. That was a good night. And I got off work. I was making pizza at Chenna. At Chenna that night. That was one of the.
But imagine you move to a city like New York, or let's use a bigger city like a Dallas or a Charlotte, and who's going to ask you to come speak in front of the mayor and talk about experience?
No, not at all. Actually, when I came, I'll give a little bit of my experience. I was in New York during COVID, and I found it just not. I was going to say not hospitable to a small business and growing with everything that was going on. So during that time, I had reincorporated here in Florida, and I started traveling, looking for the best place to go. Actually, I reincorporated Astro, but I went to Miami. I went to Fort Lauderdale. I went to West Palm. I was in Houston. I was in Austin. I was in San Antonio. I was in Phoenix, and I was in Las Vegas until I came to Tampa. And within 20 minutes of being in Tampa, I was here I was booking to stay. It was Embark Collective and a variety of the scenes. And when I got here, a lot of stuff was under construction and moving, but it wasn't quite built. The downtown, Water Street, Edition Hotel, all those restaurants weren't there. And I came down to do business. And I can tell you the savings every month for me right now, I'll say, I have a home in New York. My wife's in New York. My kids are going to school in New York. I have a home in Tampa. My son's here in Tampa. I have my business here and I run. My business saves almost $10,000 a month in total doing it that way versus me just being in New York City on 60th Street and commuting to my office on 53rd Street.
And I think the business community, besides, obviously the money is important too.
Well, yeah.
But the business community here says, James, what can we do to make you a better business?
That's right.
And I think the other cities, and again, I grew up in New Jersey, and I'm in the South Jersey is near Philadelphia.
Like Cherry Hill.
Cherry Hill is exactly. Voorhees, New Jersey. That's where I went to high school.
My wife was born.
Yeah, I mean, and I grew up, and then I think they're great communities to live in, and sports teams, all that too. But here is where it's small enough where you can make a difference, right? So I'm on 7 boards.
That's right.
And it's big enough where you can actually grow your brand, grow your company, and live a pretty good lifestyle.
Yep.
Right, financially.
Yep. So on the financially, in New York, when you want to do business, they put their hand out.
Right.
When I came to Tampa, they put their arms out.
Exactly.
And it's a big difference. After I came back, I met with the EDC. I'm sitting in my office on 53rd Street. My phone rings. I'm like, oh, this is a Tampa number. Hey, this is Jane Castor. Can I talk to you? And they were talking about what can be done in Tampa, and there's business to be opened up, and the police department, and this and that. And I was like, who is this person talking? Is this from the EDC? After I was done, I hung up and I did a little search, and I was like, holy crap, the mayor just invited me to come to Tampa. And from that day on, the goodwill and structure that's been provided has been incredible. And it's 2 years later, I saw her at dinner the other night. She was having dinner at the restaurant next to us at Dio. And it's a small town, and people are working towards the common benefit of making good business. And
so that's our role at Elevate, is to make sure that the folks that are like you, that are here, that want to get more involved, they strategize on where they spend their resources and time.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Hi, guys. This episode of Presentation Hell is brought to you by Presentation Hell, the book. You can tell better stories with Presentation Hell.
I ran for public office in 2018. I lost. I ran for Hillsborough County Commission, but the other person that ran around that same time for governor was Governor Ron DeSantis. And
so that's who you lost to.
No.
Okay. I was going to say, it's a reasonable opponent.
I ran for the county office. He ran for the state, and he won. And of course, when he became governor, a lot of the governors have these great appointments they can make for different boards. And I was called up to Tallahassee, and I asked him about different appointments. And I wanted to stay on this path of Hillsborough Community College. I think we've got a great hidden gem in Hillsborough Community College. We have 5 campuses, 42,000 students. We have myself and 4 of the trustees that govern the college. Our president's been there for 13 years. He's Dr. Ken Atwater. If you had a chance to meet him, we have 5 campuses, as I mentioned. And I think during the pandemic, you saw an essential need for both the importance of childcare workers, healthcare workers, and then, of course, the education of community colleges, enrollments. I mean,
let's talk about community college for a minute and what it really means to the community, because it's in the name. First off, people should pay attention to the verbiage that's in front of their eyes. A lot of times they miss that, but everyone knows the big schools, the big names, everyone rushes to the big state schools and stuff, but there's a huge layer of learning, and the depth of community comes from these community colleges that gives opportunities to people that normally, it's a big step for them. What do you provide in the area? What is Hillsborough?
So it's flexibility, right? So I mean, people who are maybe single mothers and have to work at a certain time or go to school at a certain time, there's flexibility of class opportunities.
So if you've got a job and you're a single mother, you might have a family, you have to work, it makes it easier to get the learning under your belt at the times that it's available.
Of course. And of course, cost, it's much more economical for family.
Everyone loves cheaper college.
Exactly. And then a lot of times it's a lot of, I mean, I don't know about you, but at 18 years old, when I started Florida State University, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I actually thought I was going to be a journalist, to be honest. And I kind of followed that path and obviously didn't become a journalist. But a lot of people out of high school today don't know what they want to do, but they like fixing cars. Maybe they can be an auto mechanic. Well, you can go to a trade school, or you can go to Hillsborough Community College, do a 2-year program there, and then walk out of that with that 2 years and do a full-time salary job at $90,000 with an AA.
So what you just said, I want people to really listen to what you just said, because these other colleges are taking an 18-year-old and giving them $100,000 of debt. And what you're doing is giving an 18-year-old a means to pay for the school and knowledge that's going to earn them way more money than probably some of the, communications degrees that come out of the top schools.
Yeah. I mean, look, and remember that you can then take that, by the way, that education and go to a 4-year. You're just going to save money. I mean, so it's really what I tell people. It's just people are different places in life, and education, as long as you have access to opportunity. The other part of it, state schools, I went to Florida State. It's hard to get into Florida State now. I mean, it was probably hard when I tried, but it's
a little easier. It's like me. I went to the University of Houston. I don't think they'd let me in today.
But they go Cougars, right? So the population of Florida has increased. We're at 23 million people, right? So that's just by nature. It's harder to get into some of these schools. And so I love the fact that Florida has 28 community colleges. Hillsborough is the 3rd, 4th largest one in the state. Miami-Dade's the largest one in the nation.
Wait. 42,000 people is the 3rd largest community college in the state of Florida.
South Florida is huge. Miami-Dade, you can imagine.
Right,
Palm
that
Beach,
makes sense.
Right? You got Broward, and then we're like between St. Pete and Hillsborough. We always compete as it fluctuates a 3rd or 4th. But the good part about it is that's means that people still want to go to community college, right?
Well, it's a real learning step where, it seems like there's a big chasm between getting out of school and am I at one of the top tier universities? When I say top tiers, I mean the state school, the state that you're in, or one of the private schools that in there. And I know people who went there, but they were always the top kid that you always knew was going to go to something like that. And there's this whole middle section that really needs guidance and support. And it sounds like this is the real foundation of where you're supporting.
Yeah, and the partnership with the business communities. So for instance, I know you had our Brandon campus president, Dr. Deb Kish, on your show.
Dr. Kish came in. Thank you for coming in. She was great on the show.
And she partnered with TECO, and TECO, they need more linemen, right? TECO is an energy company here. They need more linemen. So
that's the Tampa Electric Company, by the way, for everyone who's just listening who might not know.
And our first cohort just graduated, so it's like a 6 to 8 week maybe program. And I think 12 folks graduated in the first cohort. So now you have people that went to school for like 2 months, 3 months, and there's a certification, and now they have a guaranteed job by a corporate leader in this community.
What type of jobs are these doing? Electrical work? Is this doing administration work? Is this
this is a specific program for linemen? So
for linemen.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a lineman, you want to be the guy who goes out on the truck after the hurricanes come through, and I'm talking about the special moments in life. You could get that knowledge and become certified in under 90 days. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah, and you can. I mean, I can't guarantee, but basically almost guarantee, because the corporation came to the college.
They need people to do
this. We need
this.
people. So if you create it, we'll help make sure they get jobs.
God,
I mean, you can't get better partnership than that.
No, that is well worth it. And I hope everyone listening to it, when you look at your opportunities that are in front of you, a lot of times this is real. And sometimes people don't understand the real opportunity is just, it's really disguised as hard work sitting right in front of you.
So the first thing we tell corporate CEOs that relocate, this is a little bit of, peeling the onion back here, James, but join a board that you can make a difference and meet people you wouldn't normally meet. So for instance, I had to apply to the state of Florida, to the governor, to be appointed by him to the Hillsborough Community College Board of Trustees. I had to apply by the old governor, Rick Scott, appointed me to the chair of the Early Learning Coalition of Hillsborough County. But I meet educators, I meet the superintendent, I meet people in the business community, I meet people in all walks of life, adjunct professors that I wouldn't, union leaders, right? Because I mean, that's
he just gave a little secret of his secret sauce for his business.
Yeah.
And it's really as simple as get out and join boards and groups in your community so that you do network and you do get to know them.
But pick a board that you can make an impact in, right? There's a lot of boards out there where you can sit in the back room and just be quiet and let everyone talk. I'm talking about at HCC, there's 5 trustees. At Early Learning Coalition, there's 24 board members, right? Pick a board where your voice is going to be heard and you can personally make an impact.
Where some of your expertise actually gives value to what you're doing. You're not just doing it for your own narcissistic, I need this on my resume, but you're doing it because it is in your thought. You like education. You feel it's important. Therefore, these make sense for you.
And the quality versus quantity, right? You can join 25. I'm on 7, and I'm the chair of 2.
And he's here today.
And I'm here today because you make time for what's important, right? But I chair 2 right now. I'm president of Tampa Club, and I'm chair of the Early Learning Coalition. But the other boards I'm on, I make sure I can be on the committees. And if I get asked to be on something else, I'm like, look, I'm actually tapped out on time. Thank you. But I'll put it on the list for maybe in the future. Because those organizations where you get involved in, you're going to meet great people, but it's also going to open up business opportunities for you in Tampa Bay.
All right. In Tampa, here's something simple. Name one event that kind of changed your opinion on it or changed one of your clients' views or something that kind of, I'm looking for a tentpole moment of your company, your existence here in Tampa, something that hit well and you were very proud of.
That I helped put on or I attended?
Either or, something that you think special or, this is about Tampa.
I don't know if you've ever been to one of these Bob Clark lunches. You know Bob Clark? He's a gentleman who's in the business here for a long time.
Yes, I've never been to one of the lunches. I've heard of it.
We'll have to make it happen. But so I'll give you a good story. I came to Tampa, and that luncheon I got invited to maybe a couple years into it. And generally when you're young and you get invited to one of those lunches, it's a lot of power players on that table. But then what I realize is you don't really get invited back. It's one of those things where it's been once a year, maybe because when you're younger. So myself and 3 other friends of mine, and this is 2009. This is before I started Elevate. I talked to 3 buddies. I was in marketing, my buddy's in healthcare, another buddy's in real estate, commercial real estate. And the last one was in CPA, in the CPA world, accounting. I said, why don't we start our own lunch club? And he's like, the first Friday of the month, you just invite one person that each of us just doesn't know, and we'll split the bill at the end. And every year we'll throw one reception. And we documented everyone we had. We eventually had the mayor, the chief of police. We had the commander at McDill at the time. We had the owner of the Bucks at the time. the owner of the Bucks come to it. My point is that we did that for 7 years, and it forced all of us to meet new people. But that lunch group spearheaded the idea for Elevate Inc. Because if you're connecting people with meaningful opportunities for just to get to know what they do in Tampa Bay, that can create opportunities for each other to do business with.
Yep.
And you're the connector, and that is where you can make money.
And that's part of the consistency. The once a month, you're always doing it. You're on. We know what's going on. It's not flaky, if you will.
So we called the group Future Leaders Friday Luncheon.
Future. After the FFFL.
Yes, and after we did the reception and I went on the radio and I talked about how amazing the connections were. All the CEOs there raised their hand, and there's a video. I'll send you this video. It's older. I think we did it at the Tampa Museum of Art or the Aloft in downtown. They all said, "Look, stop calling yourself the future leaders of Tampa Bay. You're the leaders of Tampa Bay." So we changed it to Leaders Friday Luncheon.
That's beautiful.
And that was the tipping point of, okay, well, if we can do that, then Elevate is the thing.
Excellent. And you've based a career on it, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. We have 6 employees, 32 customers. We represent companies as big as Amgen to as small as an entrepreneur that starts right here in Tampa. A cybersecurity entrepreneur who just exited a company and wants to rebrand himself.
That's excellent. I'm pretty, the stories I hear out of Tampa are really compelling. Yours is compelling. In a moment here, why don't we just wrap up? Yeah, sure. Tell the audience, Elevate. I think you've told them over and over again how to get in touch with you, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So the other thing I mentioned is our belief is Tampa has swagger. So our website is tampahaswagger.com.
Mm-hmm. Tampa has swagger.
Yes. And you can find me on Twitter at Patel Times, PATELTIMES. I know it's not Twitter anymore. I just realized that. X platform.
It is. We all know what it is.
Or info at elevate-inc.com. And there's no one who's too busy. So connect with me on LinkedIn, connect with me on Facebook, connect with me on Instagram, whatever it is, it's your platform of choice. But my point is always, and people ask me all the time, well, how do I get to partner with you? I'm like, there's no partnership. Do something. We will see each other. Mm-hmm. Just like I saw you at Meet the Projects, then I saw you Leadership Tampa Bay, and now we're here today, right? Yep. And you'll know of each other because that's how Tampa is. And when you want to meet more people strategically, you can reach out to us and we'll tell you where to go. There's no rhyme or reason. Everything we offer customers, you can do yourself in a 2-year span. We just do it for you in 6 months.
That's it. That's wonderful. Thank you, guys. We're here from podcasting from the Presentation Hell platform at Embark Studios in Tampa, Florida. Thank you for listening.